Hi there, good morning. My name is Anna Cortez and I will be talking about prostitution in the United States. According to HE.org, there are 22 million prostitutes currently working in the United States. The fatality for these women is 204 out of 100,000. That means that they are 5.9 times more likely to die than the average woman of the general population. By comparison, this makes prostitution more dangerous than fishing in Alaska, logging, working as a police officer, or even working on an oil rig. In addition, homicides of prostitutes are notoriously difficult to investigate, and as such, many cases remain unsolved. Why is that? It is because prostitution is an illegal industry. So how does the law protect someone who operates within an illegal industry? Short answer, doesn't. My friend was very fortunate when she entered the industry in order to cover her tuition costs and her mother's dialysis, despite putting herself at tremendous risk, despite going to obscure places with these men that she did not know. She was only scammed. She left that industry relatively unscathed. But not everyone is as fortunate. And even with such a small crime, she was not able to pursue any form of justice because she feared retribution. She feared being embarrassed or ostracized or thrown out by her, disowned by her family, her friends. And it is terrifying to think what could have become of her, were she raped, kidnapped, or worse. How could I have helped her then without putting her in danger of being arrested herself? Prostitution is dangerous. Prostitutes can't conduct their business at their place of residence. They can be denied housing. They can be trafficked, beaten, raped, murdered, coerced, and they cannot enforce condom usage properly, making them more susceptible to STDs. Prostitutes are murdered so often that according to the National Library of Medicine, prostitutes are 60 to 100 times more likely to be murdered than non-prostitute females. This is because prostitutes are often forced to work in secrecy in risky situations, and to top it off, because prostitution is so heavily looked down upon, they are undervalued and they're often isolated from their friends and family who might be able to help them. That makes them particularly vulnerable. And these criminals who take advantage of these women know that. For example, Gary Ridgway, a serial killer. He killed at least 48 prostitutes because he knew he would not be held accountable. 82% of prostitutes have reported being physically assaulted. 68% have reported being raped. Yet prostitutes still endure this violence because they know that they have nowhere else to turn without being arrested themselves. And it is so bad that in the United States, prostitutes get busted more often than pimps and johns by a huge margin. In fact, 70 to 80,000 people are arrested for prostitution, which costs the taxpayers approximately $200 million to not only cover the salaries of the police officers who are investigating this case, but to house these people. So, of these people who are arrested, 70% are female prostitutes and madams. 20% are male prostitutes and pimps. And just 10% are customers. That equates to, for every 9 prostitutes that are arrested, you get 1 customer. Prostitutes are also not able to enforce condom usage because they are afraid that the presence of a condom will be used as evidence of prostitution. That makes them 13 times more likely to contract HIV compared to the general population. In New Jersey, the estimate is that close to 60% of prostitutes carry the AIDS virus. Yet, in the relatively free market of Nevada, where prostitution is legal, not a single one of the state licensed prostitutes has ever tested positive for AIDS. So how do you shift the narrative so that prostitutes can be legally protected under the law? You legalize prostitution. Because penalizing prostitutes does nothing to curb prostitution, because you are treating the symptom, not the illness. Many prostitutes are there out of necessity or because they are trafficked. There are a select few who are there because they want to do it, but that is a minority. So long as there is demand, you will have women who are working in prostitution. To punish them will make it more difficult for them to seek employment later on. It will trap them in that industry. What other countries have legalized prostitution in some form? In Germany, prostitution is completely legal, but it is regulated. While in Sweden, prostitution is only the sale of sex is legal, while the purchase of it is not. Yet, according to cisuk.org, domestic violence and rape did not increase in Sweden. No prostitutes were murdered in Sweden in 2015. And in Germany, where prostitution is legal, only 70 were killed by pimps and buyers. Still a lot, but it's a great reduction from what we previously had. When major cities in the Netherlands opened tipple zones, areas where prostitutes could work legally, the reports of rape and sexual abuse declined by as much as 30 to 40% in the first 2 years. Interestingly enough, the reports declined despite women having more incentive to come forward with their tales. And in cities, according to the independence.org, it is estimated that if prostitution were legalized in the United States, rape would decrease by roughly 25%. That means that 25,000 rapes per year would not have happened. And STD rates would also decrease, such as was the case in Rhode Island when state legislature inadvertently removed a piece of law that criminalized prostitution, and people found out about it from 2003 to 2009. It wasn't until the 2003 course that the police discovered, to the chagrin, to their dismay, that they couldn't prevent prostitutes from engaging in commercial exchange. So what happened then? The statewide incidence of gonorrhea among women declined by 39%. And the number of rapes reported to the police in the states declined by 31. If you legalize prostitution, you will make it easier for women to be able to seek justice for the crimes against them, you will make it easier for them to be protected from harm, from exploitation, from coercion, and you'll make it easier for them to leave the industry. But by keeping prostitution illegal, you are allowing these women to be exploited and trafficked and taken advantage of.